Welcome back to JBSports. My name is Jonah, and today is just a Tuesday. Um, Basically, I'm making up an episode that I did not record on Friday, and just to talk about some stuff. I'll still upload this Friday, so hopefully that works out, but we'll see how this goes. Um, Today I'm just gonna talk about the Rockets and some other playoff teams because NBA playoffs just around the corner, and it's really important that I talk about a little bit here before I go to the actual playoffs with everything going on. And the draft is coming up, which I will have a draft stream. I'm gonna just keep reminding everybody about it. It's going to be with the host of Riding the Ship, uh, Jonah Mrykalo. I'll put his show in the description, and he did a recent mock draft, which is very good. It was very good, so I'll also put that in the description. But as we get into this, the playoffs are kind of tight recently. Of course, my Rockets have now clinched the number two position, which is one thing I really want to talk about. But we will get into some other recent things. So, Rockets, you could say we've had an easier schedule. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's completely a cakewalk, but it wasn't anything like easy because if you look at some of the last few games, right? We beat one second, let me find it. We beat the Warriors, where we stopped Steph Curry, basically locked him down, only had 3 points, which was it was a physical game, but we still had Steph Curry only to 3 points. So that's very good. We beat the Thunder, which we've done multiple times this year. Jazz kind of easy. Lost to the Lakers. That one was rough. Um, Beat the Suns, and Suns are pretty cake. We beat the Jazz, beat the Hawks. Nuggets, that's one we lost. We probably could have won that one. We beat the Heat, which was a big game, mostly just for Thompson, just because he has a rivalry now with Harrow. So hopefully he can win some games to keep that rivalry up. But there's been some good games there. We beat the Magic twice in a row. We beat the teams we needed to. We beat the Pelicans twice. Lost to the Pacers, which I don't like, and we did lose to Thunder a little while ago. But we were on a losing streak. We were having a rough time for a while, but we've really picked it up and got ourselves in the second position, of course, which we have it in pretty much locks. I mean, if you look at the Western Conference, number one, Thunder, of course, 64 wins, 14 losses. Us, Rockets, like I said, 52-27. Lakers behind 48-30. Nuggets 47-32. Clippers 46-32. Warriors 46-32. Timberwolves also. Grizzlies same. And then Kings 39-40 and Mavericks 38-41. So that playoff race is getting really, really close. That's why I'm saying it's getting close to the end, but all these games count because all the positions aren't clinched yet compared to the Eastern Conference. Because if you look at the Eastern Conference, um, Cavs and Celtics are the only people competing for one and two. Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons are all have enough wins to have the seeding for that. Magic, Hawks, Bulls, and Heat have the last four seedings. So if we look at the bracket, it was Thunder number one, of course, Rockets number two, and then some of these like games on the Western side, like the series, are gonna be really fun. You have the Lakers at third and the Warriors at six, Nuggets at fourth, Clippers at fifth, and then playing games. You have the Grizzlies versus Timberwolves, and the Mavericks versus the Kings. And then the other side, it was the Cavs at first. Then you had the Celtics at second, and then you have Bucks and Pacers at 5 for the Bucks and 4 for the Pacers. Knicks you have at third, and the Pistons you have at 6th. And then the play-in tournament you have Heat at 10th, Bulls at ninth, and then Magic at 7th, and Hawks at 8th. And I think some of the best stories this year, of course, for me, is my Rockets being at the number 2 seed, because we were there for a while early in the season, and then you saw us drop to like the 5th, I think. So it was kind of hard to see us fall so far, and I didn't think they were going to get back up, but they did, and we went back to the second. But I think one of the biggest things of this year is the Pistons rising. You had around like 2 years ago, I think it was the moment where it was Kyle Kuzma said you didn't want to be the team to lose to the Pistons, which they did eventually lose to them that year. But it was just such a thing where the Pistons were so bad that you had NBA players tweeting you don't want to be the team to lose to them. So it was very funny to see them eventually lose to them. But, you know, it was what it is. But it's just so good to see the Pistons rise from where they were and now be in playoffs and clinch it, because they clinched it. And of course, the Rockets did it too. And the picture isn't looking too bad this year. I mean, it's fun to see the Hawks, the Magic. I'm a like half Bulls fan because my mom's from Chicago, so she's a Bulls fan, and my grandpa's a Bulls fan, so I follow them as well. So that's cool. But some of the teams I'm happy to see there, like honestly, I kind of like the Kings there. Of course, my Rockets I love. I like Tyrese Halliburton a lot, so I'm okay with the Pacers being in there. And Cavs are kind of fun to see just because you haven't seen them in this position without LeBron in a long, long time. So really cool to see them there without the help from him, especially being in a higher seed than where LeBron is right now. That's got to feel good for Cavs fans, even though they still love LeBron. So it doesn't really matter to them as much as I think it does, but it's still something I talk about. Knicks, love to see them at third, really hoping they can make it far, but I don't think I'm going to do any predictions today just because I want to save it to when it's more set in stone, which it pretty much is. But I'm probably going to wait just till like this Friday or next week's episode. But if I'm looking at it right now, if I want to play a certain team in a series between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, I'd rather take on the Grizzlies. I do think the Rockets could be a weaker second seed because sometimes we have offensive problems and like really bad ones. We're okay. We're pretty good at defense. Shangoon's pretty mid, but he can kind of protect the rim well. Amen Thompson, he's our defender. Fred VanVleet can't. It depends on the day. Sometimes he likes to lock up, and then sometimes he doesn't. So it really depends on the day. Which brings me to the thing on Fred VanVleet. My boy is hopefully gone after this year because he's so hot and cold that it's just genuinely annoying. It really is. But our team overall, we have some really, really solid guys, and I really do think that we could make a run in the playoffs. I'm not saying we make finals. I mean, it would be great, but like from the people on the roster, Sengun, Green, Thompson, Brooks, honestly hasn't been playing bad. Kind of sus defense on LeBron, but we'll let it go. Eason when he's healthy, Jabari Smith when he's healthy. Cam Whitmore is a good sneaky on the bench. Reed Shepard, if you give him more minutes, I know he can be really, really good. And there's just some people around that are like good. Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, when they're in, they play their role. Jock Landale, very surprising how good he's been for us. So overall, we have a lot of guys that are just solid for us, and it's really exciting to see us back here because it's been a while. I mean, I'm in my first year of college, and it's been one of the best sports years for me. Rockets are back in the playoffs for the first time since the Harden era, and then Commanders first time in the playoffs in the best season since 2005, before I was born, and just the Orioles are good. I know my fandom's really spread out, but don't add at me. Don't I don't care. But it's just been really fun to see. And say we go against the um, Grizzlies, I do think we can beat them, and I think we can beat the Timberwolves in a 7-game series. But I feel like we'd have an easier time against the Grizzlies compared to them, just because I'm not gonna say we could stop them all, but I feel like we have enough people to be able to slow them. So I think we could kind of contain Ja a little bit, not a lot, but Thompson can play well there. Bane, maybe. Edie, he's probably going to eat, but I think Şengün can play well against him. So I'd rather have them. But it's all up to what happens because, of course, I can't fully predict the Memphis Grizzlies could not even make it. So it all depends on it. I think the play-in tournaments, like, it can be good, but it can be bad because sometimes these 10 seeds, like, look at the Mavericks. They have almost everyone out. You know, Anthony Davis did come back, but he almost got, I think, hurt. I think he got hurt again one of the first games back, even though he's been helping them win. So it shows you how, like, good he is. And, like, imagine healthy him with healthy Kyrie and healthy Derek Lively, like, healthy everyone on the team, which is scary, but they're not healthy. Half their G League people got injured when they brought them up. So, and it's just a storyline through the whole year. They lost Luca. That is one of the worst trades I've seen in my life. And you know what? Sometimes it ends up working, but it just does not look like a great trade in my book at all. But you know what? Maybe it works out for them. But it's just I don't see it. I don't know why you do that in the first place. I just thought it was stupid. And I think pretty much everybody agrees with me because it's just I don't know why you do that. Really, it's uh whatever. But yeah, we don't have a lot of games left, so it's getting really close to the playoffs. So the play-in tournament starts the 15th. So I'll be able to make a video before that because most likely on the 13th, everything's pretty much set in stone, depending on how people play. Which you could have a team sneak into another spot, but I don't see too many things changing. Um, I can go over award races. That would be fun. Okay, so recently as April 4th was the last one. You had Shea as number 1, Jokic as number 2, Giannis as 3, Jason Tatum at 4, Steph at 7. I mean, no, sorry. Steph at 5. Last ranking was 7, which, and then the next 5 was Mitchell, James, Cunningham, Edwards, and Alfred Şengün. Um, you know what? I'll take it to see one of my favorite players there, but top 10 in MVP race is kind of wild. I mean, he's played pretty good statistically, so I'll take it. But there's been a big talk between Shea and Jokic in the MVP voting just because the different circumstances both are in. Jokic, already a multi-time MVP winner. Shea, this would be his first time, but he's it's hard to say because the game today it has a lot to do with free throws, but I feel like Shea just does it to a way where it's just too much. Like sometimes he'll just give up a basket that's free just to get 2 points from free throws, when you could just get a quick one and go. Which, listen, he does drive the basket a lot, and he does get a lot of points that way. So you can't really hate. He still gets a lot of points not off of free throws, but the free throw thing kind of overdoes it. And you know what? That's his game. If that's how he wants to play, that's totally fine. Good for him. But it's just I don't find it as fun to watch that way, and that's why I don't really watch too many Thunder games. I watch them when they play us, but it's whatever. But speaking about Jokic and why I just think he still is in the races. One, only person really keeping the Nuggets in being like known and good is Jokic. I mean, listen to this 3 game stat line. Okay, March 26 Bucks, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists on only 2 turnovers. Then you have March 28th Jazz, 27, 14, 6 and 4 steals. Then this is the most insane game stat line I've seen for a triple double ever. 61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and he loses again. But 61 points and still getting a triple double is insane to me. Because most games you see people have like high scoring, they don't have a lot of assists, or they don't have rebounds because they're like cherry picking. Like Devin Booker's game, he wasn't close to triple double, I don't believe. But this game is just insane. Of course, they lost in double overtime, but 61 points on a triple double is insane. So that's one reason why I think he like stays in the conversation for MVP all the time, just because he's so good and he just is the only reason the team really stays together. And Shea, let me look at this number for free throws, free throw attempts. Okay, free throw attempts about 8 a game, which isn't too bad if you look at it. And let's see, free throw leader. Let's see if StatMuse can pull that up for me. Okay, so if we look at this, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from StatMuse has averaged the most free throws per game this season with 7.9 a game. The next 3 after him are 6.5 with Giannis, 6.4 Trae Young, and 6.4 James Harden. James Harden, kind of known for getting, free throws, which I'm going to be honest, when I watched it, I didn't like it that much, but my team was winning, so I kind of turned a blind eye to it. So that is one reason you kind of have to. I kind of have to turn an eye to it just because, like, one of my favorite players did it for a while, so I kind of understand why people defend it. Because you know what, I defended Harden, so I understand people who defend Shea. I like Harden's game with the threes and like just like crazy layups because that was fun. The free throws not as much, but you know what? I liked it in the time, so I can't talk about it too much. I have to understand Shea's fans' point of view, and I understand. I've changed though, where it's not as fun as watching a free throw margin as someone like Green or Thompson who just goes like Thompson goes to the rack, which Shea still does. I mean, Shea insane stats really for turnovers for his position, 182 all year, and like Harden and Trae Young have above 300. Giannis has over 200. So it's really insane. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it's just wild to see how good he is because as much as I wanted to say Shea's just a free throw merchant, which you could argue he is, other than that, he's really good. I mean, it's hard to say he's not good. I do think that Jokic helps his team win a little more than Shea does, and Shea helps his team a lot. But there's some really good players around him, and there's some good players around Jokic. But I just feel that Jokic just doesn't. how do I say? He doesn't have the same amount of talent around him as Shea does. Shea has a lot of young talent that's really good around him. And Jokic has some. I mean, the Nuggets aren't a bad team. They're in the playoffs and they were just like champions the other year. So, like looking at the rosters, Oklahoma City Thunder, Shea, Jalen Williams, Holmgren. Jalen Williams is pretty good. Wiggins, all right. Caruso, who's literally the oldest, and how old is he? Let me find it. He's 31. That's their oldest player, and he just got some really good players around him that help. So they got a really good team around him. Nuggets, I mean Jokic, older Westbrook, Jamal Murray, who hasn't been bad, but like some about him just not the same. But he's still averaging 20, so that's good. Aaron Gordon, good role player. You know, Braun, he was really good that playoffs year, and he's averaging 15, so he's not doing bad. But it just seems like the Thunder has more talent and a higher upside, which they do. They got better, younger players. I mean, Jokic is only 30, so he's younger than the oldest player in the Thunder. But some about tells me he's not gonna have a long career as other people do. I just feel like he's gonna retire and go race horses somewhere. But you know what? Maybe they have around the same talent. Maybe I'm tripping, but I just feel like the Nuggets don't have as much help, and I just feel that Jokic is just a different beast. But that does not discount what Shea has done at all. Shea is very good, and I do think he's really good without the free throws. I am one of those people who like, listen, it is annoying, but you know what? I was a Harden fan, and I understand that he did that a lot. So I have to understand what's going on here, and I have to kind of understand the argument. But I've kind of changed, but I still have to understand it. So it goes both ways, but I just have to just be as clear as my stances as I can be. But Shea is also, without the free throws, he is really, really good. I mean, he leads the league in 50, 40, 30, and 20-point games. He has some solid efficiency, as they say. What they written up on Jokic. He's among the lead leaders in scoring, rebounds, assists, and steals. He is by far the triple double leader. He averages such, and his tendency to stockpile monster games like we've never seen before, coming off the 61 10 and 10 game. Yeah, and 6 3-pointers in that game is insane. And Giannis has had some crazy games recently too, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's taken a little more seriously, but I still find it insane that Sengun was in top 10. And I love Sengun, but I don't know if top 10 in MVP voting, like, that's a little crazy. Other people I understand, like Mitchell, James, Cunningham, I understand. Edwards, I understand, but Sengun is a little wild, and I love Sengun. I could see him outside the top 10 very close, but top 10, you know what? I'll take it for what it is. I love seeing my Rockets players being thought of so highly, but I just think that's a little crazy. But other than that, I'll keep it updated on the playoffs. I'll probably do predictions next week or the end of this week whatever I figure out. It's the best, but overall, really liking how the Rockets have looked. They had a little bit of a rough period, but they were on a very good. Out of the last 10 games, they're 8-2. Oh, home games, they're 29-11. In away games, they're 23-15. So it's not a bad record. And I will talk about the draft just a little bit because I'm not gonna talk about players, but there's like people in the bottom standings, like the Jazz, Pelicans, Spurs. You have on the Eastern Conference the Wizards, who are most likely going to get the number one pick, or the Jazz. It's a mix between the two. Which honestly, Cooper Flag to the Jazz wouldn't be terrible. I don't think that's what he wants, but because they have the worst record in the league now, so you could see that happening. 16-63 is rough. And the Wizards are 17-61. And then the Hornets, 19-59. Pelicans, 21-57. Sixers, 23-56, which honestly, they probably should have just really, really tanked. I mean, they're not doing well by any standards in the league. I mean, they're on a 12-game losing streak, but some of those wins really play a part in their draft pick, which they're still probably going to get anyone. They're probably going to get someone good because this draft isn't bad at all, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Jazz right now, worst team in the league. Cooper Flag there, maybe. But if Cooper Flag doesn't want to go to the Wizards or the Hornets, I highly doubt he's going to want to go to the Jazz. But hey, he might work out there. You never know. That's a player you build around. But other than that, nothing much else. I know this was NBA heavy, but like I said, we're going to have a mock draft soon. We're going to have the draft stream, and I'll probably talk about the Commanders in a little bit. But thank you guys so much for listening to this episode because, again, it's on audio because I'm kind of recording this late and I don't have the camera ready. So, but thank you. I will see you Wednesday, which is tomorrow technically, for the Wrestling Wednesday episode, which is going to be fun because Seth Rollins is absolutely cooking. And then Friday, I will record another episode for you guys. So thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.